Final Fantasy XIV is a game that has a bunch of content like Erika, Baja, PvP mode like Crystalline Conflict, and many more. But there's also content that's been completely forgotten. And I feel like this one is the one that is like completely lost. Like people don't know what it is, or they just completely forgot about it, or they just dislike it outright. And that is Lord of Verminion. And if you don't know anything about Lord of Verminion, I don't blame you. It's hidden in a dark corner of the golden saucer. And it's not like one of those dark corner where it's the hidden gem of Final Fantasy XIV. No, it's more of like the corner where the garbage can is. But before we continue on, I do want to say please subscribe to the channel, and if you're not going to do it for me, do it for the red panda, because it's a red panda. They're adorable. Why not? But what is this game mode that I am talking about? Lord of Verminion. It's Final Fantasy XIV version of a watered down RTS and a mixture of a MOBA. And basically how you play is that you set up a hotbar of minions that have different attributes. Some will do stronger than others, some will have different attacks, some will heal, and many more. And you will control all these minions to defend or attack the towers until one player destroys all the towers, or until the time runs out. And that's pretty much the gist of the whole game mode. And my opinion of Lord of Verminion is that it sucks. It's not fun, it's not entertaining, and it's also not engaging enough to bring people in. And I'm not over exaggerating here. Lord of Verminion also does have a queue time for rank play, non-rank play, and no one really queues up for it. You're going to be in queue for 30 minutes, an hour, or even more. The reason why this game mode doesn't really have a player base is that first, it feels clunky. Trying to move your minions, trying to spawn your minions, trying to make your minions attack certain things, it feels very awkward. And also, it's very snowbally. The first person who has control of the map in the first 30 seconds, 40 seconds of the game mode will most likely win. Because at that point, their goal is to just whittle down 2 crystals and to minimize the movement of the opponent by setting up traps and attacking their army little by little. And also, minions are supposed to have diverse perks and different abilities and passive, but that's not really the case. Most of the time, it just copy and paste from different minions and a little differences on what they're strong against. And lastly, it's also not easy to learn. And the reason is that micromanagement is super important, and that's not an easy skill to pick up. So if a person tries to get into the game mode for the very first time, they're going to feel overwhelmed because they don't have that skill set developed at all. So is there a way to fix Lord of Verminion? No. You cannot, because no matter what, if it's this type of RTS, it's going to be very difficult for people to get in. And there is RTS that are relatively easy to pick up, which I will mention later. But continuing on, micromanagement of this caliber is one reason that I personally believe will stray people away from Lord of Verminion. And if we compare this to a other game mode like Triple Triad, it does have complexity. It's just that it's still easier to pick up compared to Lord of Verminion. So I personally believe there's only a few options that SE could pick for Lord of Verminion and decide its fate. First one is just completely ignore it, let it stay where it is, and just make it where people completely forgotten about it and don't care about it at all. The second option is try to lower the difficulty of actually learning the game mode, but I don't know how they're going to do that. A lot of RTS are trying to figure that out nowadays. And the third option, which I think will be the most unpopular one, is completely get rid of it. Everything about it, the achievements, the whole game mode, and all the minions that are in it, you just put it in the golden saucer for some type of high MGP. But again, I think this will be the most unpopular one. I think most people will see this as a scapegoat or laziness from the dev team in general. And the fourth option, and my personal pick, would be change the whole game mode to something else, something easier to play and understand. And they have two options that they could go here. The first one is the most obvious, and honestly one I'm completely down for, which is like a Pokemon style one. I would love that. I love Pokemon all day in my heart. It's one of my favorite franchises. So if there's something similar to that in Final Fantasy XIV or something close to it, I will be completely down with that. I will have no argument at all, and I think it will also be very easy to get into, especially if they want to spice it up a little, not do it like 100% Pokemon, but something that's like close to, akin to it, a lot more easier and understanding to get to, because let's be honest, Pokemon, there's a reason why that formula works. And the second option is it's basically going to be in the same vein of Lord of Verminion, just drastically different. That will be Fort Concord. And if you don't know what that is, it's a mini game in Final Fantasy VII, and it was also reintroduced in the DLC for Final Fantasy VII Remake. And like I mentioned, it's in the same vein as Lord of Verminion. It's an RTS, you release minion and you attack 3 towers. But the major difference between the two is movement. In Lord of Verminion, you control your minion and where they're going to go. In Fort Concord, you only place your minion determined on where the line of scrimmage is, and then everything else is AI path. But there's also a other small similarity other than being a RTS by having a rock paper scissors shoot weakness, which will just make it easier to transition to Lord of Verminion and into something that is akin to a Fort Concord. But of course, everything won't be 100% the same because they have to translate it into a MMO. You cannot have the whole ATP pause thing like in Final Fantasy VII Remake integrated, so they have to probably change something in that. But again, I think this would still be ideally better and a lot more easier to get into compared to a Lord of Verminion. Do I personally believe this is the best option out of the two? No, I think the best option is probably doing something close to akin to a Pokemon type of feel, but that's my personal opinion of it. Now we come to the question of, do I, Rune, personally believe that the dev team will ever change Lord of Verminion to something else? It's probably higher or the same probability of them changing the whole friendless and brackless system in Final Fantasy XIV. But if I remember correctly, one of the plans for 7.0 is also having a golden saucer update. Probability is still there. Do I personally believe that will be the golden saucer update? No, it's probably a utter random collab that no one is going to expect. But joking aside, I really do hope they change Lord of Verminion somehow, because I really just like the idea of having your minions to attack for you. It's just a very cool thing to do and awesome. Yeah, that will be pretty much it for this whole video, so I hope all of you have a wonderful day and see you.